Saxon Math Course 2, we are in Lesson 57 dealing with something called a negative exponent. And then we're also going to look at scientific notation with really small numbers. We've done large numbers before, but we're going to take a look at small numbers today as we consider this. Okay, let me give an example of a small number. And it has to do with negative exponents. So if I said 1 times 10 to the negative fifth power, what that really means is I'm going to take the decimal here of 1, sorry, and I'm going to move it over 5 places. And every place that there's a little trough here, that gets a 0. So really, if you notice, 2, 3, 4, 5 places indicates a negative 5. And notice it's on the opposite side of the decimal. So if you have a number line, and this is 0, this is 1, a positive 1, and this is a negative 1, sorry, we're showing that this is a decimal, okay, in here of 1. So again, using this example or this idea, but showing it in a negative way. Let's go to the first example. We'll kind of work through this a little bit on a slower pace. So if you look at example 1, letter A, they give you a number 2 to the 0 power. Okay, if you have a number here, any number that is not 0 to the 0 power, it always will equal the number 1 no matter what. So if I have 256 to the 0 power, it equals 1. If I have 1 to the 0 power, it equals 1. 0 to the 0 power equals 0. That's the only exception, but we never see this. Okay? So with A, 2 to the 0 power, that equals 1. Let's look at B. We have 3 to the negative second power. Well, what this means is if I put 3 and I make this negative positive, I have to put it over 1, so it becomes a weird fraction, right? But a fraction nonetheless. So what is 3 squared? It's 9. So I just came up with my number. 3 to the negative 2 equals 1/9. All right. What about C? C gives us 10 to the negative 3. Well, if 10 to the negative 3, if this is negative, I have to put it over a fraction. And 10 to the third power is 1,000 because there's 3 zeros here. Okay, so it's 1/1000th. All right, 3 answers, 3 easy questions, and I think you see the reality of that. All right, let's go to example B, or example 2 rather, and it says write 4.63 times 10 to the negative 8 in standard notation. Well, what is standard notation? Standard notation just simply means you're going to write it out in the full number. A negative 8, remember, means that we move the decimal to the left. All right, 8 places. So let's write our number out here, 6, 3, and here's our decimal starting point, but we're going to just take it and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's our new decimal, and we're filling in zeros every time we counted. So our new number is 0 point, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 places here from where our decimal used to be. Yeah, there's 10 numbers, but 8 places from where the decimal is recognizes this negative 8. So we have 7 zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 4, 6, 3. there's our standard form. Okay, this is the answer. And what they're trying to do is get you to work with small numbers as opposed to large numbers. So if you had 4.63 times 10 to the 8th power, you would go the other way. It would be 4.63 and then 6 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we'd be putting commas in here. And the decimal would be here in 8 places, right? Because it would have gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 places. So the difference between a positive 8 and a negative 8. Big difference. Big difference. All right. Let's go to example 3. It says write this number in standard notation. And again, you got to count the zeros after the decimal point. So it's 0.0, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros, and then 3, 3. Put this in scientific notation. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we always put the decimal in between or right after the first whole number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 places we moved it. So it's going to be 3.3 times 10 to the negative 6 power. Okay, because we moved it 6 places to the right, and it got really small. Okay, but we made this number larger. We made this number still represent all of the decimal places. All right, so last one is just to compare, and if we compared 0 with this number, 1 times 10 to the negative third, which one is bigger? Okay, well, 0 is less than this number. Even though this is a negative, it's a fraction of 1/1000th, right? So 0 is still less than this number. So pay attention to those greater, less than, and equal to problems, and I think you'll do fine. All right, if you have any questions, let me know, and I'll answer them as you get to your lesson.